guys, it's Trish. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be using from the Summer Fun collection from Jesse James Beads, the Shark Week collection, and the Neon Pride strand in Cool Vibes, some Soft Flex, some Sari silk possibly, and some tan leather, or natural color leather, I guess, and possibly some wire. What this is, guys, is I'm going to be doing a design on the fly. I have no idea what I'm doing, how I'm going to make it. I have a thought, but we'll see how that comes out. So I wanted to take you with me while I do this design on the fly. So if you're ready to have some fun, stick around. Okay guys, so I think what I'm gonna start by doing is just stringing the strand as is onto some soft flex, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think we're gonna make that part of my necklace that I'm gonna make. I think I'm gonna design like a I don't want to say multimedia, but with a variety of materials. So I'm getting some crimps, which we will need. And like I said, this is just a design on the fly, so we're just kind of seeing what's gonna go here. So I think the first thing I'm gonna do is take some of this really gorgeous turquoise soft flex, and I'm gonna cut the strand there, which I did, and pull the string out. And like I said, I do this sometimes with my pieces, where I'll just take a strand that is perfectly beautiful and incorporate it right into my piece as is. I mean, they've done the work for you. Why not take advantage of it, right? I'm a little bit off screen, guys. I apologize. Let's move that back. There we go. So yeah, so we're just gonna string this on here. I love this turquoise soft flex. It's so beautiful, and it goes so lovely with these beads. Yeah. Let's see here. So that's a beautiful glass pearl there. Metal round. When you're stringing on, guys, just always make sure that you have a quality stringing material. Soft flex is that. If you prefer to have something that has color and has a suppleness about it and just holds up fantastic, this is what you're going to want to get into. Some soft flex. Okay, we're almost there. And I'm just holding the end of this almost like it's a needle, and that makes it easier when you first put the bead on. You can just slide it down easier, because when you're trying to hold out a long piece, you can do it, but it's just a little bit more awkward. So here's some rondelles. These are beautiful lava stones. Those are really cool. Metal bead. Whoops. And the last teardrop bead. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and crimp this. Let me grab my Terra crimpers. So let's get a couple crimps out. And this is kind of a lot of times when I'm just designing, I just start stringing and working that way and see what comes to me from there, you know. So we got 2 of those out, and I am going to leave, I don't know, what is this, about 3 inches, 2-3 inches on the end, and cut my other side to be approximately the same length. Okay, so I cut that over there. Move you up a smidge. And So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my springs and put one on the end that I'm not currently working with, to make sure that I leave enough space at the end so I can finish it, but also so my beads don't come off. These bead stoppers are amazing. I love them. So I'm just going to put one of my crimps on, and I'm going to put it up through the crimp, push it down there, you can see that, and then I'm going to take this end and I'm going to take it right back through the crimp. So now there's 2 wires going back into it, and I'm just pushing it down through some beads. Okay, and then I'm going to find the end of it here in my beads, and this is the first side, so we can kind of leave things kind of willy-nilly down here. But I'm just going to pull it to the loop size that I would like to work with. And being that this is so pretty, such pretty soft flex, I'm going to leave a little bit bigger of a loop so you can really see the turquoise on it. So I'm just going to take my Om Terra crimper. I love these. They're 1 step. If you prefer to just do a simple crimp, it's just you put it in there, you squeeze it, and you're crimped. And you don't have to ever worry about them coming out. And what I usually like to do though is take the ends and just kind of fold them over, just to make it like a smaller version of itself. You know, it's all preference, it's all what you prefer. But and now what I'm going to do is, you can see we have the strands sticking out here that we pulled through. I'm just going to take some heavy duty pliers, and I'm putting, you can't really tell, but I'm putting some pressure with this hand on those beads that are up there, so I can cut, and I'm pulling with this hand, so I can cut this soft flex as close up to that bead as I can get it. So there's some pressure there, and I'm going to snip, and there you go. It's up in there. You can see once this bead goes here, because we're going to push it here from this end, you can see, and then now you can see where it's going to hide in that end, in the opposite end. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. Same thing, put your crimp on, feed it back through the crimp and down through some beads. Now this time I'm going to grab this end, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull, but I want to kind of put something in the end here, just as a kind of a mandrel, so I can pull this nice and snug to where I want it to stop, so my beads have a nice spacing between them, just enough. They're close, but yes, they're flexible, but they're not rigid from being pulled too tight. Okay, and I like to do this trick because then that way you have a nice size loop and your beads are all spaced very nicely. Okay, so we've done that. It's quick, and then we're going to leave the loop at the same size that we made them the other end, so it's uniform, you know. So I'm going to squeeze with my Om Terra crimpers. Okay, and then I'm going to fold over that crimp so it's nice and snug. And then I'm going to take my trimmers and I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did earlier. I'm going to keep that pressure on both sides and snip. So there's your strand ready to roll, ready to be put onto something. Okay, so then I need to decide. I want to use this Shark Week mix, and I do apologize for the dogs and the air conditioner noise. That's just my world, unfortunately, so I hope it doesn't drive you too crazy. They tend to, this is the time of day they get anxious because their dad's going to be home soon, and you know, they're getting anxious for him. So anyway, so let's see. I'm gonna use this Shark Week mix next. I'm gonna dump this out, and guys, look at that. That's so cool, or what? It is so pretty. Oh, I love it. Now I found this pendant. Well, actually, it was a pin, and I'm gonna do a video on how I converted it. But I turned the pin into a pendant by using some wire, and there will be a video coming. But I like this. I thought, well, that would be a nice focal, maybe make, you know, have a tassel or whatever hanging down. So that is something I want to use. But in the meantime, we're going to call this as part of our necklace. Say if I'm going to look at it, I'm looking at it like this. And right now I think I'm going to take this Sari silk before I wrap my leather with my beads. And I'm going to put that Sari silk through the loop of that, sure I am, through the loop of the soft flex. Okay, and just pull it on through. It's a little snug, but you'll get it. It'll come eventually. There we go. And what I like to do with this is fold it over. So you can see how that's attached in there now. Fold it over and then wire wrap it. I'm gonna take, let's see, let's take about a foot. That's more than enough, and I'll probably be able to use it on my next thing that I want to do with this piece as well. So, sorry, that was cut on the wire. Anyway, so what I'm gonna do here, this is how I like to connect my Sari silk to my other pieces of the necklace that I'm going to make. And I'm just gonna fold that Sari silk up. And you can see that, and that's probably about 2 inches worth, and I'm going to go to approximately the center, and this is 20 gauge wire, and I'm just laying it across the center here, and I'm going to wrap. The first few are hard because you're just establishing your grip, a little difficult, your grip around your Sari silk, so it kind of may look a little wonky while you're doing that, but you want to keep your Sari silk on this side and pull your wire, scoot that down just there, and you can see I have my first wrap around there. And I kept this end long on this side because it's much easier to hold on to when you're wire wrapping if you have a longer end, and you can do your wraps much nicer. So that was a second wrap. Okay, and we're gonna go again. I think I'm gonna do 5. I like to do odds because my eye odds look better on things, but you may feel differently. Your eye may be different. So just enough to secure it. All right, and one more. Okay, so that's wrapped there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tweezer pliers in here, and I'm going to make this look nice before I trim it, because I want to make sure I have everything how I want it before I cut my ends off. And you can see I'm just taking my pliers on both ends here, and I'm just kind of squeezing those together just to get a nice look. And I'm just going to push the wire on this side to the back, and I'm going to take my flush cutters and trim that wire off. Same thing here. This is to the back. Hopefully that'll be the back. And trim with my flush cutters. And then I'm just going to take my tweezer pliers and push that down there. So because you don't want this scratching anyone, so you always have to make sure and tuck in your little ends on your wire. And you can mess with this more and more if you don't like the way the wraps look. You know, you can fiddle with them more and just kind of squish them up and move them around, get them where you want them, because it is 20 gauge wire is a little bit more flexible, so you can do that. So there. So we have our Sari silk is now linked into our strand, and I'm starting to see it come together. So now I'm going to take some of this natural color leather, and I'm just going to cut me a piece. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut, I don't know, I cut 22 inches. That's probably, again, more than enough, but as I said, this is a design on the fly, so we'll see. So what I want to start by doing is getting myself some 20, this is 24 gauge, I believe, but 24, 26 would work well, either of those. So I'm just going to cut myself off a long piece of that, maybe about probably about 30 inches or more. Just because I like to have enough when I'm wire wrapping. I don't want to run out and then have to deal with wrapping on something else, or wrapping on more wire. So I'm going to make a loop here just like we did on the other one, because I know I'm going to be looping this probably into my Sari silk. So I'm going to do the same thing that we just did, and I'm going to bend that leather over, and you have your short end and then your long piece, and go to approximately the center and lay your wire across. Again, I could be doing this with 20 gauge, but since I'm using this as to wrap the beads on, that's what I'm using. So, and then we're just gonna wrap, and make sure you line them up right next to each other. You don't want them overlapping. That doesn't look as good. Okay. And let me see, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have got to 5. And there you can see we have our loop. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to flush cut this on the back side. And make sure you keep your thumb over top of your wire when you're cutting it, because you don't want it to end up hurting someone, flying into someone's eye. And same thing, flush cut. Okay. See that? Whoops. See how I did that? Excuse me. Okay. So we're just going to tuck those little ends in, make sure everything is nice and secure and snug, so our necklace stays together nicely. Okay. So that's good. We got that done. Now we're going to start wire wrapping on our beads and charms. So this is basically, guys, this is willy-nilly. You do whatever you want. You put whatever beads you want on, and it's yours to do that with. So I'm gonna start here, maybe about a ½ an inch down from where we stopped with the wire, and I'm gonna wrap my 26 gauge wire around the leather. Okay, I'm just anchoring it right now. So I've got a couple wraps there, and I still have this long piece sticking out here. Don't forget to leave an end so it's more manageable. So I think I'm gonna wrap here probably about 5 times just to get a good anchor on the pieces I'm gonna be wrapping. So there's 3, 4, and 5. Okay, again, I'm gonna touch it up. I still am leaving this piece on here for a while, this long piece, because I like holding that with my leather, so I don't get like a twisting effect with the wire. I don't want it running around the wire as I'm trying, or running around the leather, excuse me, as I'm trying to wrap. So I'm just gonna pick up, maybe, because I know I may have a tassel hanging here, so I'm going to use maybe some littler beads at the top. So let's go with this really pretty, get this straightened out, make sure your end's straight so you can pick your beads up well. I'm just flush cutting that so I can pick it up nicer. This really pretty teardrop shape bead with a bee on it. So you can see I put that on, and it's laying here against the leather now, if you can see that. Okay, that's how I have it. I'm holding it there, so the leather's behind it. So you can see I'm leaving some breathing room here for this bead because of the way it's made. If I crammed it up there and I crammed right against it, it wouldn't sit right on your leather. So you just give it a tiny bit of breathing room there. You can see how I have that around it. And I'm going to hold the bead and the leather, and I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do 3 wraps between each bead. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and now I'm going to come back around to the front, and I'm going to pick up another bead or another spacer. Let's do a spacer bead. Sure. Let's do a spacer bead. I like these spacer beads. They're pretty cool. And the same thing, I'm laying it against the leather, holding it with my thumb and my pointer finger, again giving just a smidge room of, a little bit of breathing room there, and wrapping. Over the top, to the front, over the top, to the front, over the top. And then you bring her back to the front to pick up your next bead. Okay. Alright, so let's do next. Look at these little charms, aren't they pretty? Let's do, sorry, a squirrel. I get distracted by pretty beads. I don't know if you guys do, but I'm sure you do if you're watching this. So this is a really pretty rondelle, and you can see the difference. Like this bead, you know, sticks out. You'll be able to see the breathing room a little better on this one, but you can see how I'm pressing the side of it into the leather. It's sticking out quite a ways, but you're going to leave that little bit of breathing room. You can see that? So when you wrap it, it lays nicely. That's all there is to that. So you're holding the bead and the leather, and you're wrapping with your 26 gauge wire. There's 2. There's 3. And back to the front. And as you're wrapping this, you can stop and look at it and see, oh, is this how I like it? You know, do I want to add something back here? But I'm going to start adding some charms now, I think. And I'll show you how to wrap a charm on. So these are the really cool hammerhead sharks that come in this mix. Really like it. Very cute. Unique. I love unique, and that is what this is. I think now I've strung it on backwards. Don't do that. You want to string it on so it's facing forward for you. Just like that. See how that is? Okay, and it's basically the same thing. You're just going to hold the charm against the leather and wrap 3 times. And just see, if you leave this have the breathing room, it lets it kind of move freely a little bit, and I like that. It doesn't have to be tight against it. I like it to have some fluidity, you know, so your piece looks nicer. Frankly, it looks nicer if you have some fluidity to it. Okay, so there we did 3 wraps around with the charm. Very easy there. Okay, let's do one of these beautiful shell beads. If I can get it on my wire. There we go. Do the beautiful shell bead. And I'm just going to lay that against the wire. I'm going to pick what side I like better, and I do like this side a little bit better, I think. And I'm going to lay it against the wire. Same way. That's a bigger bead, but see you have breathing room over here. We're going to leave just a smidge over here, and we're going to wrap 3 times. There's 2. That's 3. Okay. So that's coming along very cute, very cute. I like the way this is hanging. And again, it's wire, so you can kind of move it and shape it how you want it. So let's put one of these cute little turtles on. This is a turtle spacer. Really a nice size. And that was one of the reasons I picked up that turtle pendant, because I thought it would really look cute with these spacers. So I'm going to, actually, I'm going to put him on my wire, and I'm going to put from the bottom to the top. So we'll see. So he lays. Actually, I'm going to change that top to bottom, because I want him to be facing up. Like he's swimming up the ocean, or up the channel of water, or whatever. So there he is. Look how adorable that is, guys. And once you get this wire wrapped, you can go back through and put little beads in between. It's the sky's the limit, really. But let's do the same thing with our turtle. See, he's nice and flat against that. but there's still that tiny bit of breathing room on this side for him. So same thing, wrap around 3 times. Okay, one more time. All right, we did that. Oh, you know what? We need to incorporate at least one of these really cute shell beads with the sharks on them. Let's put that on next. I'm just gonna feed that up through. Hopefully the wire will go through. Yep. Okay. And this is a large bead, but it's a flat bead, so it isn't going to be too hard. You're just going to have to leave that breathing room there, and just do a little bend and then wrap. Okay. Okay, there's our 3 times around. How you liking that, guys? Is that gonna be nice, or what do you think? Give me some comments. Let's see. I might hang these blue crystals from the top, so I'm gonna put that one to the side anyway, and I'm gonna do one of these blue pillow beads, crystal pillow beads. Okay, and just put that on your leather against it and do your wrap. And you can make this as long or as short as you want. You can make this piece with this wrapped leather a necklace all on its own. You can do this with any beads and just turn it into a really pretty statement piece, you know. So we've got 3 wraps on that. Let's put a couple more here. Oh guys, look at these. Oh no, that was I wanted to grab this one. This looks like the ocean, doesn't it? I'm gonna put that one. Oh, I like that. Almost looks like the foam in the ocean. Really cool. So we're gonna again give ourselves some breathing room. We're gonna put our round bead against the leather and wrap. And I still want to make this a little bit longer, so I'm going to keep at this. And I will speed this up so you don't have to watch the paint drying. Watch me do this 30 more times, and be right back. Okay guys, so I just wrapped my last bead on. I just startled my dog too from the sounds. Anyway, so this is what we have so far. You can kind of see. Alright, so our leather piece is a little longer than we needed, but you could even do this on the roll of leather. So you can cut it, when you get down to the part that you're happy with the length on it, you can cut it, and there's less waste. So I'm going to trim these ends, And honestly, guys, too, if you wanted to, you could go back through and wire wrap, you know, more metal into this. So if I wanted to put a shark on this side, which I may do, and add in some more metal or anything like that, you could just, there's room between, you can just kind of wire wrap until your heart's content. But we're going to go with this right now. So I've used all of my wire, so I'm going to cut another piece of wire so I can finish the end here. Okay, I'm going to do this about maybe a foot long. Okay, that cut. I'm just going to take it between my fingers and kind of straighten it out because it was kind of crooked on that roll. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to fold the end over into a loop, however much space you want to leave. Let's see, so we have about that. Make your loops approximately the same size. And I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to lay my wire across the leather pieces, and I'm putting pressure on this as I'm wrapping it, guys. Keep it nice and snug and keep that pressure on it. So that's how you're going to get a nice wrap when you do things like this, because that pressure, you're holding it, you're really holding it, and you're showing it who's boss. And you know, that's what the nice thing about wire, you know, it's so, you can do anything with it. It's so flexible and malleable. So there we go. We got our 5 rings or 5 loops put on. And bring this around. So that's the front. So we're going to want to trim these on the back side. Okay. And again, just flush cutting these against the leather. Bless you, Kaylee. The dog just sneezed. Poor little girl. She's so old. So, and I'm just laying these ends down in here so I, you know, don't poke anyone, or for if it was for me, poke myself, which is not a good thing. So we're just going to trim. I like to leave a little bit of a tail. I just think it looks cute on your leather. And then what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go back up here to the top where we did our first one, and you can see that piece of wire still laying there. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to flush cut that against the back with your thumb over it, and then push that in. Okay, so now I'm ready to hook this into my Sari silk. Okay, because I can see something coming together here that I'm liking. I may want to see how I want to hook my turtle in. Maybe I'll put him up here after I put in my Sari silk. Or do we want him more at the bottom? Let's see, because this is up, right? Or is that, however you want to lay it, really, but we'll do that. Like I said, guys, it's designed on the fly, so we're just kind of making decisions as we go. And do I want to hook that on the bottom, or do I want to make it on the side? I'm sorry, I'm off screen, guys. I'm looking to see where I would like to place my turtle, because I need to make that decision before I link everything together. And I kind of like them at the top of the wire wrap. So let's go ahead and put our Sari silk on. Now this is going to be a long necklace, guys. I like long, interesting pieces, so a lot of times that's what you'll see me make. So I'm going to put our Sari silk through the loop of the leather, bend it in half, and we're going to take another bit of wire. We're going with 26 gauge. Well, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use 20 on that, because that's what we used on the other end with the Sari silk. So we're going to go with a 20 gauge piece, about a foot long. And again, you can use whatever you're comfortable with wrapping. Doesn't matter as long as it's secure and it stays. So I'm bundling that Sari silk up between my fingers. I'm laying my wire tight across it. And as do you see how I'm using my finger there on the back? as when I first start, and then I'm moving it out of the way, see? And just wrapping the wire on. Okay, so, and I'm using that end to kind of give me some ground to hold on to the sari silk. Okay, and the same thing. Lots of wire wrapping in this video, guys. I hope you enjoy that. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is my 5th one. And again, I prefer the ends to stick out. You guys might not. You might like it to be real neat and tight up against it. That's your call. So I'm flush cutting both wires to cut them off. And we're going to go back and we're going to tweak our wires, kind of squeeze them together, tuck in the ends, you know, all that stuff. Okay. So there, that's linked together now. It's nice and snug. So we have so far, and I know this is a little bit of a mess here, guys, right now. What we have so far then is we have our beaded strand that we did, and we linked into our sari silk with our soft flex, and of course our piece of sari silk, and that's linked into our natural colored leather that we wire wrapped our beads on. Okay, and I think at the bottom I'm gonna link these two together with maybe a jump ring. Yeah, let's do it with a jump ring, and then I want to incorporate these, maybe just one, but I want to put these beautiful blue dangles on there, so we'll see. You know, again, design on the fly, guys. Alright, so now I'm reaching to get a jump ring. I just want a nice smaller size. Sorry for the racket. Smaller size. There's my dog again. Smaller size, but a thickest. I usually like to get the smallest, thickest gauge I can get for linking things together. So these are probably about, I think, an 18 gauge jump ring, and I want to say they're probably 5 millimeter. Let me measure so I can show you or tell you. Here's our caliper. Sorry, my hands shake sometimes, guys. It's just par for the course with me. So 6 millimeter. That's a 6 millimeter jump ring. Alright. So we're going to link these two at the bottom with a jump ring, and we're going to pretty that up. Don't worry, we're not just putting a jump ring and saying done here. So we're opening and closing that back and forth. Okay. And so we've pretty much, at this point, we've got a necklace. Everything's hooked together. I know it's hard for you to see because it's so long. And I'll take some good photos and put them at the end of the video, of course. So I need to figure out two things now. I need to figure out how am I going to hook my turtle onto here, because I kind of want this going up around the neck, the sari silk, and have this piece coming down so it's sort of asymmetrical, so the turtle is hanging on the right side of the chest. Okay, so how do I want to do that? Obvious choice is I could wire wrap him on there, but I have this pendant piece on him, and I'm thinking I can make my life easier and he can maybe move if I link him in with a jump ring or something like that. So let's see. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this loop on him that I made, and I'm going to turn it the other way so it's kind of flat on the back. Okay, and then I'm going to take, here we go. Sorry guys, like I said, this is a long piece. And And I'm going to put, I think I'm going to go through that and just wrap it onto there with some wire. I think that's going to be our best bet. So I think I'm going to use some 20 gauge, so it's nice and snug. And I have this loop. I'm going to go forward to back on that, so it's linked into that turtle piece. And I'm going to take that, and you see where we made our wraps when we connected our leather, when we, you know, closed the end on it. I'm going to go like right above that. This is going to be interesting. And I'm going to hold my turtle, hold my wire, and I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to wrap around. Let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. Who knows? So I still want him laying flat there. And I'm just fiddling with my wire just to kind of get it where I want it. I'm taking that end piece and I'm bringing him around the back just to kind of secure that pendant. Okay, guys, you can see what I'm doing. All right, that may work. He may hang okay. If not, I can adjust my wires. And then I'm going to wrap some more loops. Again, up at the top here and over top of what we wrapped for our, I think I'm going to do that. Just right over top of the ones that we wrapped to secure the leather, okay? Those are a little looser than I like, but they will do for now, okay? So that's a little bit of a messy wrap. I'm fine with that. If you know you don't like messy wraps, don't do that, but I'm fine with that. So let's see, will he hang right here? And I think he will once I get him on my body, that I have my body, yeah, my dress form that I put my pieces on. So I think we may be okay. Our shark doesn't seem too happy there though, so I don't know what we'll do with that. But for right now, we're gonna go with this and end this and snip the wires. Okay. And I'm just gonna tuck those ends in again. Okay. Put that up there and tuck it in. That needs tucked in some more over here. There we go. Okay, kind of cool. Kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. I really like it. I really like it all together. We have our little shark hanging. And there's our turtle. It kind of gives you an idea, guys, of what that length of the necklace is going to look like. Okay, and we have our sari silk. And then we have our strand down here. Now we're going to work on this at the bottom. I want to put some cute things dangling down here. Maybe one of these turtles. I know I like these. Maybe another shark. Yeah, let's go with those right now. So I think these will be easy. I can just use jump rings for those. So we'll attach those. I like I said, I like fluidity on my pieces. I like parts and pieces to be able to move freely. I think it just gives it a whole nother level of interest. And I'm just opening that jump ring and hooking it into the jump ring that was there already. Okay. Closing that up. So we have our shark. And we're going to put our little droplet here. One as well. Just opening front to back on our jump rings. Linking into our piece. I'm not sure if I want to put that on the shark loop or on the main loop, but I think I'm going to put it on the shark loop. Just the way I like it to hang. Okay. So there you have those 2 charms so far on there. Okay. And I'm going to take a head pin so I can use my other turtle that I have. Get a head pin. Actually, let's make a head pin. We're going to use our 20 gauge wire and we're going to make a head pin. Because why not? And teach you how to make head pins. They're easy as wow. We'll learn all we can, right? So I flush cut the end of this 20 gauge wire. And I'm going to take my round nose pliers and I'm going to roll around with the 20 gauge. And you can see how I'm piling it on top of each other. This is not on top of each other, but below each other. Okay, you see how that's winding down? So, and once I get to where I stopped, I put 3 loops. Once I get to where I started, you can see that little end right there, hopefully, if it'll focus. And then what you're going to do is take your round nose pliers out, and you're going to take your chain nose pliers and bend that wire up. So can you see what I have now, guys? I made that perpendicular. Again, I'll put it behind my hand so you can see it. Okay, so the loops are stacked up and down now with the wire above it. And then you're just going to take the end of that wire and you're going to put it down through those loops. See how I did that? Okay, and you're going to make sure you have your nylon jaw pliers for this because you don't want to make a total mess of your wire. And you're going to want to hold your wire like so. You can see. Hold your wire like so with your nylon pliers and then take your chain nose pliers and pull. Pull and push. I believe I made a video on this, how to do this, so if you have any more questions on that, you can refer to that video. I'll try to put it in the description box for you. So, there's our head pin. Okay? Very cool. Interesting looking, you know? Just kind of gives it a different feel. You know, the little knot is on the bottom. So we're going to put, let's see, do I have any teeny tiny beads over here? Not really. Maybe we'll just do the turtle. And just put him on the head pin that we just made. Spilling jump rings. And that's gonna sit down at the bottom of him. See? Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? I love it. Okay, so then we're gonna take and make a wrap loop. So if you haven't learned a wrap loop, I also have a video on how to make wrap loops, but I'll give you the basics right now. So you're just gonna take your chain nose plier, bend it over, put in your round nose plier, make it, this is an L shape, and you're gonna bring it up and over your round nose, then rotate your round nose, take your wire across, then the chain nose pliers are going to come back in and you're going to hold on to that loop real well, okay? And then you're going to wrap around just like we wrapped our leather, the same concept. You're wrapping your wire around, okay? So there, I'm going to do one more, I think, just to kind of keep him in position. Okay, so there's our wrap loop. We're going to trim the back. And tuck that in, and we have our turtle is now able to be hung with our other charms. And again, let's take some jump rings and hook him on there. Okay, we got that. Where do I want him? I think I'm gonna put him on the main one. See how that looks. Nope, that's not the main one. Sorry guys if it's hard to see here. Okay, I'm gonna link him right into that main loop, the first one that we put on. I'm just closing that up. See how cute? Now we have this whole interesting bit of charms hanging down at the bottom. So guys, this is it. I think I'm gonna be calling this done. I know it's really, really hard to see everything because it's such a long piece, but as I said, I will put, of course there'll be a photo in the, you know, the thumbnail will be a photo, and then I will also place some photos in at the end of the video so you can see it totally. But this is the wire wrap part that we did. Here's our little charms down here. And this sari silk is going to go right around the neck, and this is going to hang over on the left side of your chest. So if that gives you an idea. But like I said, we'll get some photos up and you'll be able to see all of it. So I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today. It was super fun designing on the fly as always. And have a great day, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.